So when I stopped selling services and instead focused on selling acquisition systems to companies and charging them for every single opportunity that I brought into their pipeline, I made a lot more money and my close rate just shot up. So in this video, I want to tell you a little bit about why I decided to make that switch and my timeline of doing what it is I'm currently doing, which is selling acquisition systems to B2B companies. So my original start was obviously running a marketing agency. Back when SMMA was booming, I kind of went into the e-commerce sort of niche, right? And I was providing Facebook ads. It was the basic setup of having, a media buyer to help me with running the ads and, cold emails to get appointments and close e-commerce brands on a monthly retainer. So this is kind of when I first sort of started making pretty good money online. We're making around 13 grand a month through this particular offer. And honestly, at first, it was fairly simple to close clients and to kind of bring them on board selling Facebook ad services. But over time, obviously as a lot more agencies started entering the space, started offering Facebook ads as their primary service and, going after industries that everyone goes after, such as e-commerce, local businesses. And I realized, and I literally realized it whilst, I was taking sales calls, that people just did not want a Facebook ad agency anymore. And I've always heard this one statement: what makes you different from other Facebook agencies, right? And I could honestly never really answer that question, right? Because I was a Facebook ad agency, right? That's kind of what I was doing and what I was offering. So as it started to get harder and harder to basically convince e-commerce brands that, they need Facebook ads and, they need to hire an agency to run Facebook ads for them, I started to kind of look into different ways of repositioning myself and repositioning my business, right? And this is when I went into kind of going back to the drawing board. I know it sounds cliche, going back to the drawing board, but I actually did. I had like a massive whiteboard that I would just plan out on. And I looked at the market and I looked what was happening in the market, right? And I realized that every agency out there is selling a service, right? Facebook ads, SEO, web design, social media management, it's just services, right? There was nothing unique about what they were doing, right? And there was no differentiating factor, right, when it came to pitching these services to clients. So I realized that, and I kind of started making a slow transition into selling acquisition systems and coming on as a partner, right, rather than just an agency, coming on as an acquisitions partner. And we went into a new industry, which was home improvement. And instead of focusing my offer and sort of my pitch and my positioning into that we are going to run Facebook ads, what I did instead is basically sell systems, right? I've looked at every step of the acquisition process that my clients had, and I've basically optimized it, right? I did not just do Facebook ads, right? I did everything from creative strategy to offer creation, to running Facebook ads, to different automations to convert leads into appointments, looking at their sales processes and refining their sales processes, right? Looking at their softwares that they were using, right? Eliminating and adding different softwares, right? Training and coaching my clients for their sales, right? Consulting them and helping them close more deals, right? Helping them, deal with clients post-project, right? What happens once the project is done for the client, and a lot more other things, right? So essentially, I started to become an acquisitions partner, right? I came in, I refined acquisition systems, right? Which led to obviously more sales opportunities for my clients. And I charged them, right? Sometimes it was just a retainer fee plus performance. Sometimes it was just a setup fee and then performance, right? And that way, I was putting some skin into the game as well, right? And that led me to basically being able to close just a bit more easier, right? Because instead of saying, hey, you're going to pay me $2,500 a month and I'm going to run Facebook ads for you, right? Instead, what I was saying is I was auditing their entire acquisition process and I was telling them, like, listen, to work together, there's just going to be a one-time initiation fee, and then I'm going to charge you for the performance we bring you, right? For the opportunities that we generate, right? And this way, what this allows you to do, right, is basically get paid very, very, very well for it, right? Because you are essentially, you have a unique mechanism, right? And this is really important. You have a unique mechanism to get someone from point A to point B, right? And that unique mechanism is not Facebook ads, right? Facebook ads is just a small part of your unique mechanism. What your unique mechanism is your own sort of in-house created acquisition system, right? That you've tested and you've optimized, and now you can replicate this system into other businesses. Now, obviously, when I first started selling these systems, there was a lot of learning to do, right? When I started working with these companies, I had to basically refine a lot. There was a lot of trial and error, right? But after working with a couple companies, I was able to kind of get this system down to a T, right? I've worked with just one industry, right? Specific industry in the home improvement space, right? Just focused on remodeling, bathroom, kitchen remodeling, and nothing else, right? And what that led me, basically, that gave me the ability, right, to work with all these clients, learn from each of my clients' accounts and my clients' businesses, right, and then gather this data and gather these learnings to create that one system, right, that I know if I implement into someone's businesses, as long as they're a good fit, can get them that specific outcome, right? And obviously, when you position yourself as an acquisitions partner rather than just an agency, you get paid a lot more for it, right? Both in setup fees, both in retainers, and both in performance, right? So that led me, well, obviously after working with home improvement companies, kind of refining that system, that led me to start working with B2B companies as well. And this was actually in 2024, right? And the reason why I went into the B2B space is because I realized, well, I have no problem acquiring clients for my agency, right? Like, I understand the client acquisition process and I understand how to replicate it for my agency over and over again, no matter what industry I go into. So I was like, okay, let me help other B2B companies with their acquisition processes as well, right? And the first month of launching the new offer, right, we brought in $11,000 cash collected. Right, the first month, the first 30 days of launching this new offer, we've collected $11,000. Now, when it came to working with the client, right, obviously since I, grew my own B2B company, I kind of knew what I was doing, right? I came into their business, I looked their entire sales process, I helped reposition them, right? And then I implemented my acquisition systems into their business, right? Which, are mostly automated, right? Because I don't believe in manual outreach. I believe in automated high volume systems. So implementing that for them, right, and then getting paid per appointment that automated system brings them, right, meant I can make a lot more money whilst working with fewer clients, right? And this is why sort of this model works very well, right? And this is something I'm going to pursue a lot more, because if you understand client acquisition and you become a true expert in knowing how to acquire high-ticket clients, right, through different methods, you will always be able to retain that skill, right? Think about it. Once you become a client acquisition expert, no matter what offer you work with, no matter what offer you start, what business you start, if it's a B2B business, you're going to be able to acquire clients with ease, right? And this is why I became so obsessed with client acquisition, right? This was like the primary aspect of my business. I was always obsessed with the sales process, the how to get appointments, the psychology behind, the ICPs I'm targeting, how to build go-to-market strategies, how to automate different processes, right? All of these things I was obsessed with, right? And I wanted to basically build the best systems out there, right? and also develop my own unique methodology of client acquisition, which I call the prospect prism method, right? And this is something I implement into my clients' businesses. So with that being said, if you are a client acquisition expert, or if you become a client acquisition, because most people, right, when it comes to client acquisition, right, what do I even mean by client acquisition expert, right? For most people, what client acquisition is just getting appointments and, closing appointments, and that's it. For people that understand client acquisition, it's more about creating hypotheses, testing these hypotheses, and working based on market feedback and collecting data, and then building systems around that data, right? And then mind mapping everything and looking at different ways we can optimize different sort of stages of the pipeline, right? To not only just get appointments, but to get qualified appointments into the pipeline, right? To nurture these appointments before they even jump on a call with our clients or with myself, right? And then also understanding a particular sales process, a particular way of pitching, a particular way of sending proposals, right? To ensure at least a 20-30% close rate, right, on these appointments. So client acquisition itself is, in my opinion, it's sort of a very, very, good skill set to have. It's a skill set itself, right? Think about all these consulting companies that, help B2B companies with acquisition, right? Think about how big these consulting companies are, right? Because acquisition, appointment generation, lead generation still is probably one of the biggest problems a lot of B2B companies face, right? And they're still unable to solve it. So if you first take it some time to understand how client acquisition works, you practice it, right, every single day, and then you develop your own unique frameworks of acquisition, because there's a lot of frameworks to acquire clients, right? And then you help other B2B companies basically, with client acquisition, and help them generate appointments and, deals. That skill, you're never ever going to struggle to put food on your table. I promise you that. You're never going to struggle to put food on your table, right? And if you learn how to do it for yourself, for your own company, right, and then do it for other companies, other B2B companies, right, who you feel like, can need help with acquisition, right, you charge them per appointment that you bring them. And on average, you can charge like, $200 up to $500 per appointment, right, depending on how large the deal size is for, that said company. $200, $500 per appointment, right? To make around $20,000 a month, right? If you want to make, let's say $20K a month, and you're charging $200 per appointment, you need around 100, maybe even 120 appointments per month booked for your clients, right? Now take that 100, 120 and divide it by 4 different clients, right? That means each of your clients will only need 20, 30 appointments a month for you to be able to make 20K per month, right? Pure profit, pure performance, right? So you only end up working with 4 clients and you're making pretty good money, right? Whereas with agencies who sell Facebook ads, who work with a bunch of different clients, right? With like 50 clients, 30 clients, 40 clients, right? Their profit margins are slowly deteriorating, right? Or I think I'm saying it right. But you get what I mean. Their profits are slowly going down as they start to expand and take on more clients, right? Whereas with you, as a client acquisition expert who's selling systems, you only need 4 clients, right? 4 clients. Charge them $200 an appointment, right? And then install your systems, automated systems into their businesses, operate these systems, manage them obviously. But apart from that, there's not much work for you to do, right? Because these systems are meant to be automated. They're meant to book appointments on autopilot for your clients, right? So obviously there's, I'm not saying it's super easy and you can just get into it right away. Obviously there's that first like learning phase of this sort of business model, right? But once you get past that sort of challenge or that learning phase, it becomes easier, right? So this is like why I strongly believe in this sort of model, right? I started off originally as a social media marketing agency selling Facebook ads. And throughout my time of being inside the online space, speaking to hundreds and hundreds of B2B companies on sales appointments, I think this is going to be really, really good, right? Like, in my opinion, I think this is the best model to start with. And that's just my opinion, right? Obviously, do your own research on it. Everyone has different opinions. There's always pros and cons to every model, right? But just personally with myself, I think this is what I'm going to double down on, right? If you want to make 10K a month, right, you only need like 2-3 clients, and obviously knowing how to get appointments for them, and then you're making 10K a month, right? Just purely on performance. And your clients are going to be happy as well, because instead of charging them like 2.5K a month, right, and barely getting them results, and then they end up leaving you after 2-3 months, right, because you're unable to get results because you're fulfilling for so many different clients, you're managing your team members and stuff, right? The retention rate is really, really low, right? Especially for starting agencies, for agencies between that sort of 10-30K per month mark. So if you work on a performance level with your clients, right, obviously they're going to stay with you as long as you can generate deals for them. If you know how to generate deals, that's not going to be a problem for you, right? If you become a client acquisition expert, that's not going to be a problem for you, right? And then 2-4 clients is all you need, right, to make 6 figures a year, 5 figures a month. So this is kind of my sort of journey, my sort of transition, over the past, year or so. I've been making that transition into selling acquisition systems, right? Look into it yourself, kind of do whatever you want with this information. But if you want to learn more about it, there's going to be like a link somewhere below this video that goes over like a 15-minute training I've done that explains this even further, right? So if you are curious about this, then make sure to check it out. But apart from that, any comments, any questions, any comments, leave it down below, right? I get back to all of my comments, right? Any questions you have, I'm always happy to help, so leave them down below. Apart from that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and again, I'll see you guys on the next video.